So for this laboratory, what we're going to be looking at is the heat of reaction between magnesium and hydrochloric acid. Okay, so what we're going to be doing, once again, we're going to be using our small nested cup calorimeter setup, and we're going to be using solid magnesium. Okay, so magnesium with the oxidation number 0. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our first strip of magnesium and do our first trial. And then we have 2 more magnesium strips, and we're going to do 2 more trials after that. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our analytical balance. What I want you to notice about the analytical balance is that it has more digits to the right of the decimal. It's a more precise piece of equipment. We're going to place that on the scale. Okay, we're going to measure the mass, which looks like it's 0.065 grams. Okay, so we have that. Okay, we're going to leave that here. We're then going to measure out approximately 10 milliliters of our hydrochloric acid. Okay, once again, I'm going to use the droppers to get my approximate measurement. Okay, now before I add this hydrochloric acid to my calorimeter, I'm first going to take the mass of the calorimeter, lid, and nested cups together. Okay, so I need to record this. Okay, I'm going to put that on the scale. Looks like 3.683 grams is the mass of the calorimeter and lid by themselves. I'm then going to add the approximate 10 milliliters of the hydrochloric acid. Okay, I'm going to put the lid back on. Okay, and I'm going to then put that back on the zeroed scale. Okay, so it looks like 13.598. Okay, so that's the mass of the calorimeter, lid, and 2 molar hydrochloric acid that we added. Okay, I'm then going to take my thermometer, once again, making sure that it's in Celsius. Okay, and then I'm going to actually take the initial temperature of the hydrochloric acid solution that's present. Okay, I'm going to give it a little time to settle. Looks like it's about 23.6 degrees C. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to open up the lid, just like I've done in other laboratories. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly add the magnesium to the container. I'm actually going to kind of fold it in half a little so it submerges completely. Okay, and then I'm going to quickly add that metal. Okay, and as you can see, right, there's gases being released. There's lots of bubbling. Okay, you can notice the temperature changing. You may be able to kind of see in here. Okay, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this thermometer in here until I no longer see temperature changes. Now remember, we notice the direction that temperature is changing, and basically we want to keep measuring until that directional change stops. Okay. Also, we're looking at the reaction container. The reaction container, you can see some fizzing and bubbling, so we also want to kind of monitor that. Okay. It's quite warm to the touch, okay, which is definitely another indication of reactions, temperature changes, besides just the bubbling. Okay. So looks like we're starting to slow down. All right, so it looked like about 51.3 was the highest that we reached in terms of temperature. Okay, so this would be trial number 1. Okay, now we're going to repeat this 2 more times. Okay, and so what we need to do is we need to basically clean up our calorimeter. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it, we're going to dump this into our waste container. Okay, and then we're going to rinse out our container with deionized water and take care of it from that perspective, dry the interior as best we can, and then repeat our steps. So, okay, rinse down our container, okay, rinse down the surface like we've done. Okay. Right, dump it into the waste container. I have it off screen, sorry. And then what we're going to do is we're going to dry the container. Now, reason why we want to dry that container is because we want to make sure that we don't dilute our hydrochloric acid down, right? We want to make sure, you know, we're not making our reactions go a little longer. Okay, so we dry the best we can with what we've been provided. Okay. Right. Okay. And then we're going to repeat the process. Okay, so trial number 2, okay, magnesium, and take the mass of the magnesium. Okay, so this is 0.065 grams. Okay, set that aside. Take the mass of our calorimeter. Okay, so 3.688 is the mass. Okay, and you guys should maybe be thinking about why we would want to take the mass of the calorimeter between each trial. Kind of brainstorm that as we're working through things. Okay, and then of course we're going to measure out our approximate 10 milliliters of hydrochloric acid into our graduated cylinder. Okay, now again it's approximate. Remember, we're going to be taking masses later. Okay, but let's get pretty close. All right, I've taken the mass of the calorimeter. Right, we did this. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and add our hydrochloric acid again. Put our lid on. Take the mass of everything together. Okay, so it looks like 13.677 it looks like. Okay, just so you know, this is a pretty sensitive scale, so even just air passing by can make adjustments, because so you kind of have to be a little still. Okay, once again, we're going to take our temperature measurement here. Okay, our initial measurement of our solution. Okay, looks like about 23.6. Okay. We're then going to take our second piece of magnesium. Okay, I'm going to fold it so it fits nicely into the container. Quickly drop it in, put the lid on. Okay, once again, see our same outcome. See our smoke, lots of bubbling, increase in temperature. I don't know if you guys can see the bubbling maybe. Okay, continuing to observe the temperature change. Still got a little bubbling going on inside the reaction container. Temperature is still increasing. So looks like we hit our maximum temperature, about 51.2. Okay, so once again, guys, waste container. Okay, rinse out our calorimeter. Okay, rinse off our lid as well. Okay, put that into the waste container as well. Then take some time to nicely dry on the surfaces. Okay. Lid as well. Okay, and then we're going to do trial number 3. Okay, and trial number 3. Okay, we take our third piece of magnesium, place it on the scale. Let's see, 0.063. Okay, is what we got our mass to be. Take the mass of our calorimeter and lid without anything in it. Okay, let's make sure everything's zeroed. Boom. Okay, so 3.722 is what it looks like. 3.722. Okay, we're going to measure out our approximately 10 milliliters of our hydrochloric acid. Okay. Okay, and we're going to add that to our calorimeter. our lid on. Okay, take our mass. Okay, 12.921. Okay. Then I'm going to take our initial temperature. Make sure our thermometer's on. Okay. Okay, we're going to take those initial temperatures. Bam. Okay. Okay, 23.7 looks like the start. Okay. So I'm going to quickly add. Once again, watch our temperature changes. Okay, so looks like we reached our maximum. Okay, and now we basically clean up. Okay, rinse down our surface of our thermometer before we put it away. We don't want a bunch of reactants and products stuck on the surface. So we're going to rinse that down with the ionized water, dry it, put the cap back on. We're also going to rinse this out just like we have in the past several trials, put it in the right race container, put all our glassware away, and basically move on.